Hi, and welcome to our visit to Trier in Germany during the Christmas market period. It's part of a road trip from the UK, crossing through France, Belgium and Luxembourg before arriving in Trier. From Trier we'll be following the Mosel River past Cochem to Koblenz, our next stopover, before heading to our favourite Cologne. In this video we'll discover Trier, a little of its history and culture, what makes it a little different, and why this is a road trip. We'll start as we step out of our hotel, the Mercure Porta Nigra, opposite the Roman gate of the same name, the Porta Nigra. We'd highly recommend the hotel as it's just a stone's throw from Simeonstraße, and this will lead you to Hauptmarkt, the main Christmas market. There's a link in the corner for the hotel as well as in the description, plus links to the Christmas markets and all the other historic places we discover. Just the other side of the Porta Nigra is Trier's Tourist Information Office. From here it's just a short walk to the first Christmas market at Hauptmarkt. If you're interested in the history of Trier, don't worry, we'll be back to cover more of that later. But we're here primarily for the Christmas markets, and how pleased am I to see the Käthe Wohlfahrt stall under the Christmas pyramid. These are the best of the best Christmas decorations, at a price, but in our minds it is worth it. As we take a look around, I would like to add that the Christmas markets really come to life after dark, and of course we'll be back later. The Marktkreuz and the Petrusbrunnen, all part of Trier's rich history, are wrapped up in the festivities. It's fair to say Trier's markets are bite-sized. If you want a full-fat version, then we'd recommend Cologne. However, Trier makes a great introduction for a couple of nights, and it seems to have a lot less tourists, which can be a nice thing. Now I have to share this.
Do you recognize me? Once we hear, it doesn't surprise me.
Yes, that's Last Christmas as you've never heard it before. As you may have noticed, we've reached the second market in Cathedral Square, or Dom Freihof, just a short walk along Sternstrasse. And the store with the singing reindeer? Well, that's a Glühwein hut. And after nearly 300 miles since Calais, guess what? It has to be a Wirtz, a Trier hot mulled apple cider. We're in the shadow of Trier's Cathedral, which we'll take a look at later. The reason this is a road trip is that we like to make the odd purchase. Sometimes they can be a little large, and so it's easier than and safer than to trust it to hand luggage. As promised, let's take a step back into Trier's history, and we return to the Porta Nigra, from the Latin for Black Gate. It was built in around 170 AD, one of the 4 city gates, and has been part of Trier's UNESCO World Heritage since 1986. There is a small admission fee, but on a clear day it will give you outstanding views. But in late November, we're not blessed in the weather department. Trier is considered Germany's oldest city, founded in 16 BC during the reign of Emperor Augustus. It sits on the banks of the river Mosel. Another of Trier's impressive monuments is its Roman bridge, or Römerbrücke. The 9 bridge pillars date from the 2nd century AD. The upper section has been replaced and repaired over the years. Next we have the Barbarathermen, or the Barbarathermen baths, which are one of 3 sets of baths in Trier. It starts to give you an idea of the scale of Roman Trier. It's free to enter and walk through on an elevated platform. It's starting to make me think we need to return on a warm, late spring or summer break. Who knows, maybe. Next we have the Imperial baths, a little more upmarket, and again you can pop in for a very modest admission fee. Time is not our friend, and we have a lot to fit in our time here. We're heading up to Triers Roman Amphitheater. Is it just me, or is there a sense of Ridley Scott's epic movie Gladiator? Granted, a provincial city, but I can hear the call, "Are you not entertained?" Anyway, enough of that. Again, a small fee, but we wanted to experience this. The journey on foot from Porta Nigra has been around 3.5 kilometres or 2.25 miles. It's relatively flat except for the gentle climb to the amphitheatre. Now this is interesting, a chance to go under the arena floor, where the props and wild animals would have been kept for the gladiatorial performances. Now, while we take a look around, it's a good time to mention, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give us a like. And if you enjoy this style of video, then why not subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've plenty more to come, travel tales with a sprinkling of history and culture. We step outside and take a view from the stands. Try to imagine nearly 2,000 years ago when you would be part of a crowd of around 20,000 people, all part of Roman Trier. One more Roman treasure, Alla Palatina, or the Basilica of Constantine, from around 300 AD. Like a lot of Trier, it was damaged in 1944 during the bombing as the Allies tried to defeat the Nazi regime. From one place of worship, we moved to the High Cathedral of St. Peter in Trier, or Trierer Dom. Now, we've already had a glimpse around it as we made our way around the cathedral market, and we'll be back again soon. But now we're going to take a step inside Germany's oldest cathedral. And without wishing to sound like a broken record, its history dates back to Roman times and is said to have been commissioned by Constantine the Great. As you'd expect, there's been many changes over the centuries. That organ, although impressive, dates from 1974. The interior of Trier Cathedral features a number of styles, from Romanesque, Gothic, and a touch of Baroque. Once again, on a religious theme, the Electoral Palace, the original residence of the archbishops and electors of Trier. Its current Rococo style with classical Baroque gardens date from the 18th century, but again it was the victim of the bombing of Trier. Back into the centre of Trier and we have the Steipe and Red House, both buildings had to be restored after the Second World War. The restoration, funded in 1965 by donations from local citizens, gave us this, when we could have had something in a modern 60s style. Personally, I think the heart of Trier looks fabulous on a grey day in November. I bet it looks stunning in summer. There are a couple more things I want to show you before we hit the Christmas markets after dark. One of those is Germany's oldest pharmacy, with a history dating back to 1241. Then there's the House of the Three Magi, again a 13th century origin story, but the facade has changed over the centuries. Then we had Judengasse, or Jews' Alley, which led to the Jewish quarter. Jews had lived in Trier since early Roman times, and the first home on Judengasse was built around 1219. The Jewish community were forced out in 1349 when they were accused of poisoning the water with the plague, only returning 200 years later, but now spread throughout the city. This leads indirectly to Stockplatz, once Judenplatz, part of that Jewish district, and I half expected another Christmas market to be shoehorned in here, but as I said earlier, this is really more of a local Christmas market. Another thing we discovered is that Trier is the birthplace of one Karl Marx, socialist and publisher of the Communist Manifesto. His family home is now a museum to the man, although forced to leave Germany and found his final resting place in Highgate Cemetery, London. Anyway, enough of all that. Let's take a look at Trier after the sun has gone down and explore those Christmas markets. Those markets run from 10:30 most days, 11 on Sundays, until 8 p.m, 9:30 on Fridays and Saturdays. But as I keep banging on about, they come to life after dusk. That's about 5 to 5:30, when those finishing for the day meet up for a glühwein and a chat with friends and colleagues. The thing you'll notice is that the Christmas markets attract all ages, with those of us with a touch of silver in the hair having a decent representation. One question I often get asked is why go to Germany? After all, there's Christmas markets in many UK towns and cities now. Well, a drink from a stall is around €3.50 to €4. A bite to eat at a stall is generally under €8. A bratwurst much cheaper. In fact, you could eat on the Christmas markets and not have to dive into a restaurant. We do both because I love a German pork knuckle. I need to shout out the Bitburger Wirthaus on Kauptmarkt. Great food, great beers. And Bitburger beer comes from Bitburg, some 18 miles away, so staying local. Back to the Christmas markets. It's not all just eating, drinking and being a little merry. There's the chance to buy a unique gift, something for a loved one or your own little memento, maybe not so little. That's why this is a road trip. Oh, and I don't really need to say this, but watch your alcohol consumption the night before you head off. You don't want to ruin your Christmas and somebody else's. Now, what happens if it rains? Well, you get wet. Actually, joking aside, do plan to dress warmly with comfortable shoes. Layers are good, because if you happen to stumble into a Brauhaus, then they're generally quite toasty. A small umbrella you can slip in your pocket is also quite good. A golf umbrella, not so appreciated. Also hand gloves, but not something you mind spilling glühwein on. The gloves, that is. Another word to the wise, perhaps shop before you indulge. That's the voice of experience. Of course, if you have any comments or questions, then I'd love to hear them. Hopefully you're getting a little inspired. If you're worried about the language barrier, don't. I'd recommend you brush up on your bitter, danke, auf Wiedersehen and maybe an Entschuldigung. There's a bit of Duolingo for you. But in general, English is widely spoken, but a little German is appreciated. Now, do you remember the singing reindeer? Well, we can go one better. Definitely something different. And back to that question, why the German Christmas markets? Because often Christmas is just seen for kids. In Germany, it's for everyone. The place is full of Christmas spirit. And our memento of Trier Christmas comes from this stall. One for the collection. I think we're going to need a bigger tree. Another thing to add is that the Christmas markets constantly evolve. Each year there's something different, each city a little different. There's a post on our blog with the 14 different markets we've visited, all of different sizes including Munich, Berlin and Cologne, to help you decide what's best for you. And hopefully you seriously consider Trier. I'll pop a link in the corner. There's another place I want to shout out, Weinstub zum Domstein. We enjoyed a Bitburger or two whilst we took the weight off our feet. You'll see it shortly. So we've covered the two main markets in Trier, and you'll also discover a few more huts dotted around. I should also mention the ice rink in Kauptmarkt. It's less than 5-minute walk away. I don't have a video of that because there were a lot of children on the ice at the time, and I think they deserve a little privacy. Plus some may have been more interested in the Bitburger Wirthaus. So we've reached the end. Thanks so much for watching. Here's that Weinstube Domstein. Maybe time for just one more. Stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.